I'm Buzz Mark. I'll be your MC today. This is the West Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce First Wednesday Networking Breakfast, which is typically on the first Wednesday. We have a mission here. We have some things that we want to accomplish, but before we do that, I want to remind everybody to please put their phones on silent so that it doesn't disturb us during the meeting. And then I'm going to have our sponsor, Chris Gray, come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we will do some announcements and get into networking. And also, we're very excited to have Governor Michael Dukakis is our guest speaker today. So let's have a round of applause. All right, Chris, take it away. You ready? Okay, please rise. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I do want to thank our sponsor today, Chris Gray from Moss Company. He's going to talk to us in a few minutes about Moss Company and the amazing things that it can do for your real estate properties. And but before we do that, we have a mission here at the West LA Chamber. We do. We're actually not just here to have a good breakfast at a nice room on a bright and early on a Wednesday morning. We actually have a mission. And the mission of the West LA Chamber is to enhance business opportunities in West LA through referral, advocacy, and education. Referral, advocacy, and education. Those are the three pillars that we build everything else upon. So referral, we have an opportunity almost every week of the month for like-minded business owners to get together, to build relationships, to learn how they can help each other's business grow. And that's part of the referral side of things. So today, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to build a relationship and maybe develop a referral partner. Advocacy, as you know, we often have a political figure, whether it's an elected official or a business leader, come and speak to us at these breakfasts. We want to make sure that they know what the needs of the West LA Chamber are, what the needs of the West LA business community are, and we want to make sure that they hear from their constituents and the folks that elect them in the first place. And then education, we have all sorts of opportunities in the West LA Chamber where members provide workshops and educational opportunities for fellow members, almost always for free, to help their business grow or help them in their personal life, etc. So referral, advocacy, and education. And so I think what we'll do is we'll have some announcements. So who's going to come up and talk to us about announcements today? Christina and Aaliyah?
Yes.
All right, very good.
Thank you, Buzz. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Nice and shine. Happy New Year. I just want to announce some of the events that West LA Chamber hosts on a monthly basis. We have several networking events. The breakfast is just one of our first networking events. We do the first event of the month, the first Wednesday of the month. It's our formal meet. We always have a politician. We're so happy to welcome Governor Dukakis here today, and thank you, Chris Gray, for sponsoring. But we also have other events. I'm going to have Christine talk about our networking at noon, which is a casual luncheon, but I'll let you take over.
Okay, hi. So every month we have a networking at noon, and this month it's going to be at a chamber members restaurant. It's Maharaji Cuisine of India. It's in Westwood. We did one there 6 months ago. The food is delicious. So please come by. It's a couple doors down from Ruth Bay.
Oh, okay.
And it's next Friday, the 12th. We start at noon and end at 1:30. So I'd love to see all of you there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great lunch buffet.
Yes, it is. It's a delicious Indian lunch buffet. We also have a mixer every month, sponsored by one of the members. It's on the third Thursday of the month. Last month we had Simone. Thank you so much, Simone, for sponsoring the last month.
It was a good time.
You always do a great, fabulous party. Although I was sick, but I know you put together a great party. So thanks for sponsoring. And then we also have a women's group that we host for the Women's Networking, fourth Tuesday of the month. All of these events will be on our website. As of now, some of them are TBD, so just check back on our website for updates, westlachamber.com.
Awesome, thank you very much. Awesome. And I do want to acknowledge Captain Wendling and our police department's presence here. You know, we get pretty out of control sometimes. So it's very important that we have a police presence here. They keep things calm, you know, and take care of business as necessary. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to do a round of table networking, and then we're going to have an opportunity to hear our sponsor speak. After that, we will do kind of a group networking where we're all going to introduce ourselves very briefly, and then we'll hear from Governor Dukakis. So who is ready to do some networking? Is there anyone here ready to do some networking? Woo! Woo! We have 2 people ready to do some networking. Excellent. 3 people. Good. Do I have any more? We're going to do some networking today. But let me see a show of hands if this is your first West LA Chamber breakfast. I know there's a few new folks. We want to welcome you, and we're very excited to have you. Round of applause. That's how we work it, and there'll be obviously time to do a lot more networking after the breakfast is over. So I'm going to set my timer. Do we have a timer at each table? Steve, can you be the timer at this table? Malia is the timer over here. We've got Christine, and are you guys going to do some networking, Chris, over at your table? Maybe if you want to, it's up to you. I'm going to be here at table 2. So I'm going to set my timer. So before we hear from our sponsor, I want to acknowledge the board of directors. And our board of directors, if you're here, please stand so those who don't know who you are can identify you. Stan Scott's not here today, but Simone Etihad, Bruce Bay Farahanapour, Phil Gabriel, Chris Gray, Nima Mobasser, Steve Little, Dr. William Manos, myself, and Elham Yahubian. These are our board of directors. I want to say how much we appreciate all the hard work the board does. They actually do get together and try to iron out the best direction for the chamber and to make sure that we're in compliance with all of the various regulations that we have to operate under. And I also want to acknowledge our ambassadors. If you are an ambassador, please stand up. And Christine and Malia, who are the chairman of the ambassador committee. So great to have you guys. You know, for our new folks, if you are interested in learning more about the ambassador committee or the board of directors, please see one of the folks that just stood up, and they'll be more than happy to give you some great information. All right, so it is my pleasure now to introduce Chris Gray. He is Vice President of Moss Company. Chris has been in the chamber now, it's probably your second year? Is it second full year? Second full year. And one of our corporate sponsors as well. But anyway, Chris, we're very excited to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Gray.
Thank you. Good morning and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you.
I'm going to speak for as long as my voice will allow. One of those, right? Hopefully, no one else.
Which is around 10 minutes.
It was going around. No more than 2 minutes. I want to thank the sponsor of the board for allowing me the opportunity to sponsor this morning's breakfast. Welcome the new folks today. Law enforcement, of course, as always. Briefly, many of you folks already know, with my tenure here in the chamber, Moss Company is the largest regional property management firm. We specialize in apartment management as well as commercial real estate management, retail, office, etc. Bottom line, just like the chamber, we also have a mission at Moss, and that's really to simplify life, to say it easy, or to make it easy. As you guys know, life is difficult. You're managing personal relationships, business relationships. Life throws you curveballs at all times. And really our mission at all income levels is to provide a home or a place of business if it's in the commercial side, but really to provide folks a home that it takes some of that worry out of their hands. Whether it's a studio apartment in a low income area or the $10,000 a month, Santa Monica 2nd Street apartment. Our goal is similar across all classes, and that is to be accessible. As long as our employees, our team is accessible, right, for maintenance, simple maintenance requests, just take some of that, I know we say maintenance, and maintenance sounds so simple, but if we could simplify their lives, our residents' lives, the home issues, right, where they could focus on business, family relationships. Really, at the end of the day, that's our goal as a firm. Similarly, my job is to make the lives of our team members simple. We want to provide security for our employees, place they know that paycheck is coming, and where they can provide for their families. We have 390 team members at Moss & Company. And it's pretty phenomenal to think of the effect as a firm, the effect on not only our employees' lives, but of course their households, their family, their extended family that they're able to provide for. And really the extended family of Moss Company, from, again, the business owners that we might manage the retailer office space for them, or the 11,000 households that we manage apartments for. And it's fun to think that, right, in our short time, whether in business, on this earth, whatever it is, that hopefully we have a positive effect on the folks that live in one of our buildings. So with that, that's pretty much my simple message. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. Buzz always does.
Of course. Chris, tell us a little bit, how you got into the real estate management business, maybe a little bit of your background and kind of what distinguished you. Like, you told me this, I know, but I think people might really be interested in knowing why you were so distinguished when you came into this industry.
Oh, I don't remember why we're so distinguished. It's funny, property management, if anybody's in property management, it's certainly not something you go to school for and say, I want to grow up to be a property manager, right? Everybody in our industry falls into it, somehow, some way. Especially in Los Angeles, by the way, regional, I didn't mention that, so all of our properties are here in LA. We get a lot of aspiring actors, actresses, right? Singer-songwriters, etc. And it's amazing, right, that to be able to manage a building, to get the free rent is how they start. Oh, I just want free rent, but soon it develops into a career. We, of course, hopefully like to see those employees go on to the big screen, but more likely than not, they end up staying with us for a long time. So bottom line, you typically fall into the industry. I'm no exception to that rule. I came out of school, a local guy here, born and raised in the Valley, went to school at Little Marymount. And I went into the wine business for 5 years, and then medical sales device sales for 5 years. And then started with Moss Company as business development. I don't know why we're distinguished, so whatever I told you was probably BS at the time.
Like coming in from another industry, you presented
yourself
a little bit more differently than what was typical at the time.
Yeah, I think everybody knows, right? Your visual of an apartment manager, right, is the bathrobe, hair curlers, right, the whole deal. Don't bother me sign, right, on the front door. So thanks, Buzz, for reminding me. Yeah, I think in general, we like to hire team members with little to no experience, frankly. Maybe that come from the hospitality industry, service industry in general. Because at the end of the day, in our business, what really separates Moss and Company, and there's others out there, owner-operators, some of the national players that also understand the importance of accessibility at the end of the day. If, everyone says 90% is showing up. It's no different in property management. We say 90% is answering the phone. And we have measurements. We know how many calls somebody gets, at what hours they get, and how many are being answered, right? So that's really the number one measurement that we look for in our industry.
So I'm familiar with 2 of your properties, one of them in the village that you guys have been managing. You've brought in good tenants, brought in good people who live in the apartments above, and good retail. Another one in Hillgard that you're remodeling. What do you, when you take over a building that has retail and residential, what do you look for in retail? Because so many people will just rent to the first person who comes and is willing to pay $5 a square foot. What do you guys look for when you're trying to tenant the building?
Great question. Really because we're not the owners of the properties, right? We are hired to execute on the ownership's goals. Every property, mixed use that you're referring to, Philip, does have a plan and a strategy. And certainly the neighborhood is a huge factor in that strategy. I would like to say we certainly give our input, but many of the mixed-use properties, the new development, they're backed by some pretty smart people that have an idea of small service food, whatever it might be, the tenants that would make up the retail space. Coffee house, etc., like a Starbucks type thing, obviously is pretty popular out there these days. So it's not, to your question, who's going to come in and pay the most. Certainly not. Obviously, our goal is to get higher rents for our clients, but that's not the overall strategy. Bruce Bay.
Thank you, Chris. Responsible breakfast. My question, what's the smallest size of the property you manage and largest size of property you manage?
Good question. So we typically like to stay north, apartment buildings north of 30 units. We will take something on the smaller end of maybe 20 units as part of a larger portfolio. Our largest property is in West LA off the 405 and the 10. It's 430 units, known as Woodcliff Apartments, and then we have everything in between those numbers. And again, total unit count in the apartment side is about 11,000 here in LA alone.
Who is a good referral for you? Is it a property?
You know, it's funny, our business, unlike most, the business model is a little different, right? We have clients, the property owners, so certainly any property owner that wants help in managing their asset would be a great referral. But also, you know, our customers. So we have a client that a boss essentially, that we are report to essentially. And then we also have customers. And those customers are business owners for our retail and office space, and customers are residents. So even just somebody looking for housing is a great referral. mosscompany.com is the website. We have a great little link there. It says find an apartment. We do have some affordable living, some affordable buildings out there, and certainly quite a few, as I mentioned, throughout LA, apartments available. So it's an easy way to search, and that's also another great referral.
Last question.
Yes.
Okay.
Last question, Philip.
Have you ever thought about getting into managing bids, business improvement districts? Because a lot of what they do is finding vendors to clean or to fix stuff. And sometimes the people in those bids aren't equipped for that. Have you ever thought about getting into that type of business?
You know, we haven't. We have a niche, but it does sound like there's some synergy. I don't know if we'd be into the business as much as we would be happy to assist somebody, right, just as from a relationship standpoint. There goes US Bank. Bye, guys.
They're so out of here. Very offensive. Yeah.
That's right. No, I'm not.
It's you.
Okay, so thank you guys. Again, Happy New Year and enjoy the day.
You know, Chris didn't want to say it, but so I'm going to say it for him. One of the reasons Chris was so successful when he came into the property management business was because there was kind of a style, if you will, that was a little bit more good old boy, jeans and polo shirt. Chris comes in from the medical device industry. He's wearing a suit and a tie. He has all of his stuff laid out, all of his materials very professionally ready to go. And instead of just saying, you know, having a good pitch and a handshake, he came very prepared, and his clients have been blown away. And that's why Chris is vice president of that company. So I just want to give kudos to Chris. He didn't want to brag on himself, so I'll brag on him for him. So anyway, thank you very much, Chris, and it was a great talk.